And there is a belief they finally have one. And I actually looked at the Bears' schedule. And look at what they did. It's a lot like Houston last year with C.J. Stroud. They get no elite defenses from last year until November 17th. They got no elite defense. Tennessee, Indy, Rams is young. Carolina, Jacksonville, Washington, Arizona, New England. They don't face a top 10 defense from last year until November 17th. Caleb Williams isn't opening with the Niners or the Chiefs or the Ravens. Nope. It's a lot of average defenses. He also, Caleb in Chicago, get a lot of 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. Eastern, a lot of early window games. They're only on prime time 3 times. 2 of those are week 15 and week 17. Not under the microscope, not big pressurized games. Nope. Couple of prime timers late, 1 in week 2. They also get to open a quarterback advantage. Will Levis, rebuilt staff. That's the opener. Tennessee's the opener. That's a good opener, right? Rebuilding their receiving core. Brand new coaching staff. Rebuilding a roster. One of the weaker rosters in the NFL. So you get no elite defenses early. Tennessee to open. No really heavy microscope games of note. Week 2, you're on national TV, but, it is Chicago. Here's the other thing. Look at the quarterbacks all through this. Drake May, Jalen Daniels, Bryce Young, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, J.J. McCarthy, Week 12. So the Minnesota Week 12 game, you could put that as the opener, and you're going to get a Sam Darnold. If they go sideways, they'll be playing J.J. McCarthy Week 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They also don't give the Bears any of those nitty-gritty divisional games. Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay, those intense rivalry games that feel different than average games. They don't get any of those. Caleb Williams doesn't get any of those until week 11. So I thought, this reminds me a lot of Houston last year. Remember C.J. Stroud? They open up with the Ravens. Whoa! The Bears week 2 get a national TV game, right? Big game. Exclusive game. And then if you go back to that Houston schedule, they built confidence and momentum off, Desmond Ridder in Atlanta, Colts, Saints, Bucks, Steelers with Kenny Pickett. All of a sudden, this young team with a rookie quarterback and a young coach, you're not sure DeMeco Ryans. I'm not sure if they're good, but they're playing like they're good. I'm not sure if they're good, but they certainly believe they're good because they're beating pretty average and below average teams. So I thought Chicago, and it's good for our business. I love Chicago. I mean, they're not facing any of those big divisional games, not a lot of microscope games. It's a lot of 10 a.m. windows. You open with Tennessee. It's no elite defenses early. You look at that schedule, you could have faced opening week San Francisco, a Green Bay at Lambeau early, Detroit a couple of times. They don't face Detroit until Thanksgiving. Caleb Williams going to have all these starts before he faces the best, most talented roster in his division, Detroit. I thought the Bears got a little bit of a break. It was as if the NFL said, it'd be nice if we could have one of our major markets for our broadcasting partner, since New York's in the toilet. The New York Giants are in the toilet. It'd be nice if we could, make Chicago something. I mean, we have the L.A. Rams, but L.A. is more of a basketball, baseball market half the time. It'd be nice if Chicago would. I don't know if Chicago's going to be good, but that's a groove schedule.
Okay. So let's look at this schedule. As you guys know, I'm pretty high on the Chicago Bears. I don't put massive expectations on any team really, but I think that the Bears should be incredibly optimistic. And I've kind of mapped out before that I think that, you have to manage your expectations. I know everyone's talking about, even Colin now compared it to the Houston Texans schedule of last season, but make no mistake about it. C.J. Stroud has displayed incredible maturity, as well as the Texans, and I've said this now a lot, the OC for the Texans, as well as obviously their head coach, really was the perfect combination and environment for the Houston Texans to succeed and C.J. Stroud to succeed. And that can't be understated. It's a combination of a lot of factors, not just one, not just an easy schedule, or not just the OC, but also the head coach, and not just CJ Stroud's natural abilities, but also his personality, and also the level of expectations for the Houston Texans. No one was expecting the Texans to do much of anything. A lot of people are expecting the Bears to go big time, and you have a lot of people who are rooting against Caleb Williams, even Chicago Bears fans, because they want to prove that Justin Fields was actually better and should have stayed. So it's interesting. You even have some guys in the locker room that probably are not happy that Caleb is there and want Justin Fields. But don't get me wrong, that could change in a second. Caleb Williams balls out against Tennessee, and now it's all hail Caleb Williams. So it's just definitely a lot more tense of an environment. Even Colin has talked about the Bears head coach is potentially a lame duck coach, is definitely on the hot seat, and you didn't get any of that type of feeling from the Houston Texans. So there's just a lot more at stake there. But all of those caveats aside, I definitely think that the Bears can be set up to succeed big time and can definitely ball out. And this is what I've said again and again and again, that for a young quarterback like a Caleb Williams, who I do think is emotional, and I think that is something that he needs to work on. And again, I've defended Caleb Williams for a lot of the things that people have said are bad about him. I've defended some of of him like crying to his mom. I'm like, okay, that's his mom. What do you want? And in terms of what he wears and his phone, like whatever, I've defended all of that. But the one thing that you do have to talk about is emotional maturity, and that really, really, really matters. It really matters, especially when you are someone like a Caleb Williams that has the potential to go so high. This is like the people with bipolar disorder. To be very clear, I'm not saying he has bipolar disorder, but this is very true for mental health. That when people have the experience you've probably seen this, not even just people with bipolar, but just people who have the experience to experience really high highs. They also have the same level of experience to go really low lows. And I'm sure either you or you have some friends who are a lot more just like even killed. They don't ever get too high. They're not laughing hysterically and giggling all the time and love to party. But those same people that don't get those real highs, they also don't get really, really depressed. And I'm the type of person who I can swing real high, right? I can get real high. I'm like ready to go, laughing, having the greatest time. There are a few people that can experience joy at higher levels than me. But on the same token, I can also get really, really depressed, really, really sad, and go really, really dark, okay? That's just the reality of my life. And again, it's always hard to judge someone based through a TV screen. But Caleb, to me, definitely has the ability to swing more so than, say, a CJ Stroud. He's a more emotional player. And not only when you're an emotional player, combine that now with the potential greatness and eliteness of Caleb Williams, because Caleb Williams, not only can he be emotionally high, but what he can do on the field is absolutely amazing, right? He can do the things that Patrick Mahomes can get. That will only swing the pendulum hot, greater. That's the way it'll work. When he scrambles for 45 seconds and throws an 80-yard bomb, as he's falling to the ground like a submarine pitcher, that's just going to be like, the crowd's going to go insane. TV's going to go insane. They're going to interview him and be like, how the heck did you do that? It just builds up the moment more and more and more. So to me, for a young player like Caleb Williams, momentum and getting a good start matters so much. Because let's say he loses to the Tennessee Titans. Let's say Will Levis outduels him, right? And then CJ Stroud now balls out and continues to do what he's been doing. And then the Colts, right? They're building something special there too with Shane Steichen. And right now, let's say he drops 3 games, goes 0-3, and now he's going up against Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. That will be devastating because now he'll have to field questions. Everybody will be talking about, is Caleb Williams a bust? Did the Chicago Bears offense actually look better with Justin Fields? Things just spiral. Now, to be very clear, before any of you Chicago Bears fans come at me and say I'm a hater, watch previous videos. I've praised Caleb Williams. I've praised the Bears. I think what they're doing is, without a doubt, on the right track. They're setting him up to succeed, and I think the Bears absolutely can succeed. That scenario that I mapped out is not what I'm saying I'm predicting, but it is a genuine possibility, and it would be devastating for any young quarterback, let alone a young quarterback that has such high expectations and someone who probably leans towards being a little bit more emotional, who needs to just mature, which again, that's understandable. We all need to mature. I still need to mature. 55-year-olds still need to mature. So certainly a young rookie quarterback will need to mature as well. And my big thing has always been, do the Bears have in place the coaches and the culture to help support a Caleb Williams who maybe faces some adversity or struggling? So I think if the Bears hit the ground running and can get some momentum going, then I think the sky's the limit. Then I think they absolutely could have the season that the Texans had with CJ Stroud. And I think that they could get to the playoffs and win a playoff game. I really, really do. Because let's say now, the opposite of what I said before, they crush the Texans. And it's like, yeah, that's right. You got Will Levis. We got Caleb Williams. Get on our level. And then CJ Stroud, everyone's talking about that you're the next Patrick Mahomes. No. I'm Caleb Williams. Like whether they win or lose that game, if Caleb Williams just balls out and does better than CJ Stroud, outshines him, it's like, yeah, sit down. You had your season. Now it's my turn. Like it just builds that up, right? And so then maybe they go, I think even just going 2-2, as long as Caleb Williams is playing good, is enough of that momentum. You're going to crush the Panthers. Who the heck knows what's going on with the Jacksonville Jaguars? Then you get a bye. The Commanders, I think their defense will be kind of tough with Dan Quinn. It'll be harder than in the past, but who knows what the heck their offense is going to look like. You should be able to beat the Cardinals, the Patriots. The Packers, those are always going to be tough games, of course, and you play them twice. Probably a coin flip. What are you going to do? Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota Vikings, I think will also be, of course, it is an interesting thing how it's all of these division games, one after the other, essentially. And I think that is when the schedule gets a little bit more difficult. But the Minnesota Vikings, again, I think them, if they were playing J.J. McCarthy at that point, would be wrong. If they want to sit him for a full year, I'm always against sitting a quarterback for like the first half of the season and then throwing him out there. Because if you're throwing him out there, that means your team's not doing that good. You haven't had the full year of getting first team reps. So if the Minnesota Vikings actually do that, then sure, I think the Bears will be able to take advantage of that. But I don't think they will. And if they would, I think that would be a mistake on their part. And so again, I think all of those division games are going to be tough games. They always will be tough games. That's just the way it goes. And of course, the 49ers will be a tough game as well. So that's really, right, week 11 all the way through week 18 is when things kind of get a lot more dicey. But I think those first 9-10 weeks, the Bears have the ability to really go on a run, build some true momentum. And now you have that momentum. You have that confidence. So now when you face the adversity of maybe getting punched in the face by the Packers or the Detroit Lions or the 49ers, it's not earth-shattering. You're not now having the conversation, is Caleb Williams a bust? Should they have kept Justin Fields? You're not having that because Caleb Williams is already balling out. The Chicago Bears already have a lot of momentum. There you go. So now I think that kind of gives them a stronger foundation to now make some mistakes, to get maybe blown out or just have a tough loss, to have Caleb Williams throw a really bad interception in the fourth quarter against, say, the Detroit Lions or something. And it won't be, what is he doing? He is not growing. He's bad. Get him out of here. Because people are crazy. People are extreme in that regard. So that's why I think starting off strong really matters for the Bears and especially Caleb Williams. And I think with the schedule, I think it's the opportunity for them to start off strong is definitely there. And at the very least, for at least Caleb Williams to shine and start off strong, even if the Bears maybe potentially get outdueled by a couple other great quarterbacks like a CJ Stroud or maybe even like a Trevor Lawrence or a Matthew Stafford, right? Those are all legit quarterbacks, so you never know what's going to unfold in those games. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys think about the Chicago Bears schedule? Do you think it's set up for Caleb Williams and the Bears to succeed? Do you think that they can make a playoff run? Or do you think that second half of that schedule will be a gauntlet for them and that they could potentially unravel? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, Either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.